Good evening, welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live from Anusa Desawe Kanda, also live on TV3, that's 3FM 927 on Facebook, also on X. Join us with your thoughts, views, comments, and opinions. My name is Alfred Ocansey.
My name is Beatrice.
Remember, we're also live on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, and also on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Let's get into the details of the headlines right now. The next 1 hour, 30 minutes here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. President Mahama names 13 deputy ministerial nominees as he inches closer to the 60 threshold as promised.
We'll bring you the full list of the appointees, including John Domelo, who is headed for the Agric Ministry, Justice Ramsai for Attorney General and Justice, and Al-Hassan Suhaini for Roads and Highways Ministries. Speaker of Parliament suspends work of ad hoc committee probing the chaos which marred a vetting of the ministerial nominees last Thursday. We'll tell you exactly what has led to this particular decision. And also tonight, minority MPs question the appointment of Dr. Johnson Asiama as Governor of Bank of Ghana, threatening to report government of Ghana to the IMF. The majority has been reacting. We'll tell you more. We have the latest in business and also sports in the next 1 hour 30 minutes here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, and also on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. We'll tell you the thermal plant in Tema who have shut down as WAPCO begins maintenance works shortly. In the bulletin, Lord Edwasari is here with a summary of the news.
Thank you, Alfred. To the summary, President John Dramani Mahama has nominated his first batch of deputy ministers pending parliamentary approval. Notable among them is actor, farmer, and member of parliament John Domelo for food and agriculture. Other nominees include Gisela Tete Agbotui for works and housing, Al-Hassan Suhaini for roads, Dr. Justice Ramsai for Minister for Justice and Attorney General, Thomas Nyakon Ampim for finance, Clementa Park for education, Rita Odole Soa for local government, and Richard Jan Mensah for energy. Elsewhere, appointing committee chairperson Bernard Ahianfo has accused the minority of deliberately disrupting the January 30 ministerial vetting, leading to chaos and property damage. He claimed that Minority Leader Afenyo Marking issued instructions that derailed proceedings. Speaker Alban Bagbin had suspended 4 MPs but later reversed that decision. Also, the New Patriotic Party minority in Parliament has strongly criticized newly appointed Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Asiama, insisting he is unfit for the role. At a media briefing, Tano North Member of Parliament Gideon Boakon stated that dropping charges against Dr. Asiama does not clear him of wrongdoing. This follows the Attorney General's decision to withdraw all charges against him over his alleged role in the collapse of Unibank and Unity Bank. Again, the government has reduced the 2025 Hajj pilgrimage fee from 75,000 to 62,000 Ghana cedis, fulfilling President Mahama's campaign promise to make Hajj more affordable. The Hajj Task Force chairman expressed concern over the huge debt left by the previous government. I'm sure I'll already get more into it, you and Beatrice. Finally, President Mahama has inspected the stalled Takrady Market Circle project and announced a crucial meeting with the finance minister and the contractor this Friday. The meeting aims to find solutions to complete phase 1 of the 46 million euro project, which has faced delays. This comes as part of his regional tour. That's it for the summaries. Beatrice and Alfred, take it.
Well, thank you so much.
Lord, today is February 5, eh?
It is.
So guess what? If you're preparing for the Valentine's Day, if you're living in Goso, the traditional area, they've banned the celebration of Valentine in Goso Traditional Council. So if you're listening to us and you intend to go to Goso to celebrate Valentine, just change your location and celebrate Valentine. That's all. But let's get into the details of the stories now.
Noted, I was going to do mine in Accra anyway.
Well, guess what? President John Dramani Mahama has nominated 13 persons to various deputy ministerial positions in his government, pending approval by Parliament. The nominations, which includes Justice Ramsai as Deputy Minister Designate for Attorney General, Minister of Justice, also actor John Domelo as Deputy Minister Designate for Food and Agriculture. Is Dayoaso West Wagon, Member of Parliament. Also on the list is Lydia Lamisi Akamwabra, who is a Minister of State Public Sector Reforms. And this is a ministry that has generated a lot of conversation as well, because this is not the first time we're having this particular ministry on our books as a country. We'll get into a conversation on that. Also, the latest nominations brings to 56 the total ministerial appointments by President John Mahama so far. This means the president has 4 more appointments to meet the 60 threshold he promised the people of Ghana. Let me run you through the full list as released by Felix Kwachofosu, the spokesperson for President John Mahama and the Minister for the Presidential Affairs and Government Communication. Now, if you go on our Facebook page at 3FM927 on Facebook right now, you'll see the full details as we're putting it there right now. And for the Finance Ministry, Deputy Finance Minister Thomas Nyakwampim and Deputy Interior Minister Designate Ebenezer Oklote-Tailabi, and then also Minister for the Deputy Defense Minister Designate N.S. Broja Jemfi, and Deputy Education Minister Designate the Bolsa South Member of Parliament Clement Abbas Apak. And for many, this doesn't come as a surprise at all. Dr. Clement Apak has been a deputy ranking on the Education Committee in the 8th Parliament, and he is part of the committee that was set up as well by President John Mahama to look into the food shortages in the senior high schools not too long ago, and many were expecting that this was indeed going to be the announcement for the Deputy Minister of Education role. Deputy Minister of Energy, Green Transition Designate Richard Jan Mensah, Deputy Roads and Highways Minister Designate Alhassan Saibu Swing, and many also were expecting that with his role that he has indeed played, Alhassan Sweeney, in the Lands and Natural Resources Committee of the 8th Parliament, he was indeed tipped by many to go into the Ministry of Lands and also the natural resources as well as a deputy minister. But President John Mahama has his target, his objective for him in the Roads and Highways Ministry as Deputy Minister Designate. For the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Yusuf Sulemana, the Bole Bamboy Member of Parliament, is going there as a Deputy Minister Designate. For the Ministry of Justice and Attorney General, you have Justice Shremsai, who is a private legal practitioner as well, going there as a Deputy Minister Designate in there as well. And for the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Rita Na Odole Soa, that's the La Dade Kotopo Member of Parliament, has also been nominated as the Deputy Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs there. And also, she's a member of the Appointments Committee of Parliament. If you look at the construction of the committee right now, a number of the members have been nominated and indeed sworn in as ministers of state. And the Minister of Works, Housing and Water Resources, you have Gisela Tete Agbotui, also as a Deputy Minister Designate there. She was on the committee that was put together by the Speaker, the 7-member committee, to probe what happened, the chaos that happened last week Thursday during the vetting of the ministers. And earlier today we heard them. Well, guess what? She's on the latest list of deputy ministerial nominees as announced earlier today by President John Mahama. And Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Yusuf Isaka Jaja is the Deputy Minister Designate as announced. And for the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Farmer and also actor John Kofi Seto Dumelo, MP for the Ayawaso West Wuogon constituency, has been named as a Deputy Minister Designate for the Food and Agriculture Ministry. And finally, the last not the least, the Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Samson Ahi, the Bodi Member of Parliament, has also been named as Deputy Minister Designate for the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. And the President has also nominated, as we indicated earlier, Minister of State for Public Sector Reforms. Professor Enoch Enchi is a governance expert. He's been looking into this quite closely, joining us on the telephone for a quick conversation. Professor Enchi, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Hot Edition.
Good evening, Alfred, and greetings to all your listeners all over the world.
Indeed, always good to have you. First off, I'll find out from you the first list of deputy ministerial nominees, how all of this strikes you, and there's any specific names in there that you are expecting that has indeed come to pass?
Yes, let me say congratulations to all the 13 individuals who have be recognized by the president, and then they have been appointed as nominees for the various deputy ministerial positions. I have spoken with a lot of people in doing research, just simple something, survey, and realized that John Mahama's marking scheme will be how much he can inflict conflict on Anado's appointees. That means that people are expecting Anado appointees for Mahama to show him or them where power lies or where pepper lies. There are a lot of things that went on during Anado's regime, and people were saying that they were not pleased with what the ministers did. So I expect those who have been appointed as ministers within the next 2 weeks or months to come out with the rot they found in the ministries that they found themselves. Now, having said that, I'm also pleased to see somebody like Apak as Deputy Minister of Education. He worked so hard, he deserves that. I also have seen a couple of people that raise some eyebrows. Somebody like Kelabi, and then somebody like the guy from Jamai as Deputy Minister of Finance.
Yes.
That raised some eyebrows. Ampim Dakon, I didn't know that they had it out of the president. But the president is a choice that is made. And I know that in leadership, your choices reflect your judgment. So let's see how they perform. Another person that came in that surprised me was John Domelo for Food and Agriculture. I thought that Tukono, who has been the deputy in the party structures, would have been given that position, but it went to John Domelo. So congratulations to John Domelo. I have spoken with the party structures, those at the regions and those at the branches level, and they are complaining a lot about how the party structures have been ignored in this process, where a lot of people have been given appointments that don't even know the branches and then the districts and then the regional officers of the parties, and how they dread going to work with them. So I think that, and then there were also some people thinking that some regions have got more nominations than other regions, and that the president should look at that. So I think now that we have the deputy ministers, most of the positions are gone. We have a lot of the CEO positions also gone. It's left with just the ambassadorial positions. But we are seeing, and I think that most of these guys, the advice I would give to them is that you can have an average person who will go to a ministry but will perform creditably well because they are ready to listen to these technocrats. The technocrats have been there for 25 years, 30 years. If you go and you are humble and you listen to them, they will teach you everything. The problem somebody like Oforiatta had at the Ministry of Finance was that he thought he knew it all. And because of that, those technocrats at the ministry just watched him to fail. So my advice to those who have been nominated is that when you go listen to the technocrats, they've been there for a long time. They know the in and out of the ministry. And if you listen to them, the answers are always within. They'll be able to help you.
See, now, it's interesting you mentioned Dr. Peter Boamah Tokono as well, because there are many who were expecting his name to come up as a deputy agric minister, considering he being an agriculture economist. In fact, he was the chair of the NDC's agricultural committee for the drafting of the manifesto, and then also the chair of the manifesto, that's a planning committee as well. So yes, indeed, you're not alone when it comes to Dr. Peter Boamah Tokono and that particular expectation. But as you mentioned, I mean, there are many who also look at John Domelo as a practical person who is involved in farming. He has a farm of his own, and he's living the expectations of what you would expect a forward-moving agric sector to be like, integrating all forms of modern ways of agriculture as well. You think that may have caught the president's eye?
Well, it's a matter of choice. If you have two things, you go back to your roots, and as a president, he has 4 years. So this is a 4-year journey. And he's thinking about who is loyal to me, who can implement the policies that I want to implement. Because at the end of the day, the leader is held accountable and responsible for whatever every ministry will do. So I think that if he's more comfortable with John Domelo, thinking that he will execute things exactly the way you want them to be, let's respect the president's choice.
Rightly so.
But then people can also talk about other individuals who are in the race. And one thing I like about His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is that he's not shy to reshuffle. He's not like Nanadu So two things I like about President John Dramani Mahama is that he cannot close his eyes and then listen to people from different political perspectives. You can be an MPP, you can be an NDC. He will listen to you. If you look at even the educational committee that he set up, headed by Professor Odro, and if you're talking about Utukono, then Professor Odro also chaired the Manifesto Committee on Education, but he did not get to be the Minister of Education. But he's been given a position to help. And I'm told that when Haruna Idrisu met all of them yesterday, he said that bring anybody you want to bring to help the education sector. It doesn't matter where the person comes from. That is a good attitude. We are trying to find solutions to a plethora of problems as a country. So no matter where the person comes from, if the person can contribute to change our world, look at what is happening in America, how Trump is misbehaving, and our people are being sent home. So we need to do things right in our country. And if we get the right people, I think we can make a lot of differences in our lives. Don't forget, Alfred, that 65% of every institution's success is the number of people or the quality of people you hire. So the hiring process is really key. And we need the right people at the right places so that Ghana can grow and then do well.
And it appears that if President John Mahama is going to achieve that 60 ministerial that's a promise, some ministries obviously would go without deputies, at least with how things are playing out right now, is it not?
Yes, that raises a lot of concern because if you're going to run 24-hour economy, it means that there's going to be 3 shifts. And 3 shifts is 1 minister. Means that the minister is going to find it tough to handle everything, except the minister work with the technocrats, which is the directors. So the advice again is that if you are just 1 minister in the region, let's say Eastern region or Ashanti region, there's only 1 minister, there are no deputies. And these people can become powerful, and then they will not account to the people. And arrogance can set in. So that is the caution that we should all spread on. And I'm glad the president has told all his nominees that if you are proud, he'll kick you out. Because he himself is humble, and he wants humble people to work with. And I think there are a lot of factors that went into him picking these individuals. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt. And these individuals who have been lucky to be recognized, I expect them to live to the expectations of the president and then Ghanaians.
And maybe just quickly and finally, before I let you go, there was this point also raised about, and you made reference to it, the synergy between the ministers and the chief directors as well. We've had them serve over time, and we've had ministers come in as political appointees. There's been friction in some cases, at least in the previous administration, we had all of that. Now, how can that synergy be achieved, especially when there is a political appointee coming with the objective of the government of the day, and also the chief director who has also been there for a number of years, who may not necessarily be aligned with that political achievement or the objective for that matter?
Alfred, I've done quite some research about that. And the credit here goes to NDC, that NDC is the only political party that has maintained the structure. So let me take education as an example. When NDC is in power, they pick people who have risen from the district level to the regional level to the national level as directors. But when MPP came, they picked some deputy directors who were not coming from the ranks, but right from politics. Now, the onus depends on the minister right now that I want to work with this person, or because the person came politically, I want to work with a different person. The minister have every right to let the existing director who was appointed politically to leave and then bring a different person who can align with their visions. So there's no problem with that. And I think that it is not right that we are not using the structures of people who have risen through the ranks to where they qualify to be there. But those who have genuinely risen through the ranks, there's no problem using them. Like I said before, they know the in and out of that ministry. And if you tap into it, the solutions are always from within. They will really help you to excel. But if you go arrogantly pretending that you know everything, they will watch you to fail.
Prof, I appreciate your time on this. Thank you so much for joining us. Professor Enoch Enchi is a governance expert and also a lecturer at the Academic City University, joining us here on Hot Edition.
Let's bring you some more here, and we go to Parliament because the Speaker of the House, Alban Bagbin, has suspended work of the committee probing the chaos which marred the work of the Appointments Committee Thursday, January 30. Now, work of the 7-member ad hoc committee was suspended abruptly after the Clerk of Parliament withdrew support staff. Well, many were those who argued that the decision by the Speaker to pardon the 4 suspended MPs would render ineffective the work of the ad hoc committee, probing the chaos which marred the Appointments Committee's sitting. Well, that opinion changed when the committee began public hearings with invitations to witnesses. Majority Leader Mahama Yariga would provide his account of proceedings. Listen. We'll bring you that. Also, Roads and Highways Minister Kwame Governs Abuja, who followed next, alleged the ripping of microphones. Well, again, attention peaked when the chair of the Appointments Committee, Bernard Ahiafo, took his turn, alleging that bad faith from the MPP caucus, which resulted in the chaos. It was bad faith which resulted in that chaos we witnessed.
I was surprised after vetting the Minister for Transport. Based on the agreement, I asked the Minister designate for Health to take his seat. It was there that I realized that we are tired, we will not do Honorable Akando. Akando will not be vetted today in a very rowdy manner. Based on my posture, I was engaging the minority leader to the effect that you said you are comfortable for Akando to be taken today. What has changed? What really has changed? Mostly the response will be that it is not me, I am under pressure. It's not me, I am under pressure. I'm also a politician, I understand. So I was making an attempt to persuade them that in view of the fact that Honorable Akando had to bring the chiefs and opinion leaders from Juaboso, and he being the last person, there are instances where vetting of the committee will end at 10, 10:30, 11. And this is just getting to about 8 o'clock. So we could accommodate and take Honorable Akando for that day, so that the rest of the 2 will be shifted to the following day. And if we are not able to finish the following day, then we could consequently adjust ourselves and finish the following week. Then what I realized was that whilst that negotiation was ongoing, I heard the minority leader requesting that they should call some people into the vetting room. And in no time, they started walking to the vetting room. And that very day, minority leader was so harsh to the deputy, second deputy whip, Jerry Ahmed Shaib. I intend not to repeat the words inflicted on him that very day. So I realized that they were under some kind of instruction from their leader to do certain things. Honorable members of the committee, let me place on record that there are some instances where my ranking member will ask their side that they should all stand up and put on the microphone. And by putting on the microphone, all other microphones will be disabled. And you cannot do anything when all the microphones were on. So to some extent, I do not really understand what they want, because honorable members, by my level of tolerance and the way and the manner I have accommodated them, sometimes I do not expect it to be treated in a particular way. And as I said, life is about give and take. We were prepared to give and we were prepared to take. So I also expected them to also give and take. So before I could realize, somebody said something in tree and they started pulling the cables, and I mean there was a pandemonium. The whole place became very hostile.
And he had that the first Deputy Speaker and also Chairman of the Appointments Committee, Bernard Ahiafo, clerk to Parliament Committee, while delivering her testimony, revealed that her husband urged her to leave the committee when she was verbally attacked.
So I was in there when my secretariat signaled to me that the chairman is calling me to swear in Honorable Akando. And Honorable Akando was seated in this seat. So I rushed through where the cameras were through the door and came in and stood by my chair. I didn't hear the directive, I was told. So when I came, I was looking at the chair. What is the directive? Waiting for prompting. But then my boss, the clerk to Parliament, was also there. And then the insults and disruption started. You have asked that I shouldn't go into that, so I went. And so I was shocked. I was still standing. If you look at the video, you could see the shock on my face, and I was like, what is going on? And so I was comforted, and I was resolute, seeing my boss at the end trying to calm the two leaders. And so I sent one of my secretariat ladies to seek guidance from my boss, who is the clerk to Parliament. At that point, there was, so much disruption. There was scuffles going on this side where I was. Over there, members were, there was so much screaming here and there. The chief whip came to my side. Some of the majority leaders, members came to my side that I should swear, I should let the nominee take the oath. And I pointed to them respectfully that my boss is standing right here. It is in his shoes that I step in. And so if I don't get indication from him, I am not going to take order from anybody. And so they kept, screaming at me. I should let the nominee take the oath. My minority leader was also screaming and hailing. I don't want to go into it because you've asked me to. So we've watched the video, and the video is there to speak clearly. And so at a point, I got hot, so I started fanning myself, and I took a seat. And all that you saw in the video transpired. At the tail end, when the majority leader was trying to engage both, I got 3 calls and a message from my dear husband instructing me to leave the premises immediately. And that order I took and I adhered and I left. I exited through this door and went to stand in front of the clerk's office waiting for him to inform him of my leave to go home because my husband...
And you had the clerk to Parliament, Gifty Oba there. Well, addressing the media as well, Chair of the committee, Emmanuel Bejra, revealed that the minority had asked its members to recuse themselves from the committee sitting.
We are getting indication from the Clerk of Parliament, and I want to put on record. The Clerk of Parliament has instructed that we should suspend the sitting until further notice, and therefore I want everybody to be aware that it is not the committee that has decided to stop, but the Clerk to Parliament of Ghana has requested that until he get further instruction from the Speaker, the committee should suspend his sitting. On that note, we want to discharge you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Thank you. And I want to inform all the media house here that we'll get back to you. We're waiting for instruction from the Speaker, who has formed this committee, and then by tomorrow we'll let you know the next step. Thank you very much.
And you had Emmanuel Bedra. He's chairman of that special committee set up by the Speaker to probe the chaos in Parliament on the 30th of January. And we stay in the House because the MPP minority has also launched a scathing attack on newly appointed Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Johnson Asiama, since he is not fit to head the BOG. Well, the minority says that the president must allow the charges against him to stand. At a media briefing today, the Member of Parliament for Tano North, Gideon Boako, said that merely dropping charges against Dr. Johnson Asiama does not absolve him of any crime. The Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayene, has filed a notice to withdraw all charges against the former second deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Asiama, who has been standing trial in two separate cases for his alleged role in the collapse of Unibank and UT Bank. Mr. Asiama, along with other accused persons, were facing charges of fraudulent breach of trust, money laundering, conspiracy to commit crime, and violations of the Bank of Ghana Act since 2020. The minority, however, insists that it will be writing to the International Monetary Fund to draw their attention to this, given that he will not be on the IMF Board of Governors, exposing Ghana to international ridicule.
It is a considered opinion that Dr. Johnson Asiama be made to go through the full hog of the adjudication of the cases he was standing trial for. We are at a loss as to why President Mahama could not wait for the completion of the adjudication process before appointing Dr. Asiama, or allow the case to still run while he appoints him. It is in the interest of both the state, government, and Dr. Asiama himself to establish whether or not he is guilty of the crimes he has been charged with. For a government that is built from a party with purpose to be lovers of probity and accountability, we firmly believe that President Mahama should allow the charges against Dr. Asiama to stand, even as he carries his duties as a governor when he is finally approved. The action by the president gives us cause to believe that Dr. Asiama is not clean. This silly attempt to discontinue the proceedings of the criminal charges against Dr. Asiama is the more reason why we think he, Dr. Asiama, a potential criminal convict, should not be heading an important and sensitive office as the governor of the central bank. It is even more crucial at a point where Ghana is under an IMF program and requires absolute credibility in our dealings with the IMF. For us in the minority, we are not letting this end at this press conference. We will be writing to the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, to draw attention to this, given that he will also, as governor of the Bank of Ghana, be a member of the IMF Board of Governors, exposing Ghana to international ridicule.
And you had the Member of Parliament for Tano North, also former spokesperson for former Vice President Gideon Boako. Well, the former Finance Minister and Member of Parliament for Karaga, Mohammed Amin Adam, also said that there could be implications if future Attorney General decides to reinstate the charges.
Was hearing the case and the charges were dropped. And this is why my colleague said that in the event of a future Attorney General who views this decision by the Attorney General as inappropriate, decides to reinstate those charges, what will become of all the decisions he would have presided over? That's the issue we need to confront ourselves. The Bank of Ghana is a very important institution of our country. And we all should help to protect the integrity of the bank. Having people on whom charges are hanging to supervise over the affairs of such an institution, central bank of our country, really is problematic. And we all should be worried. Why the president will go ahead to drop charges against that person, and the next day or the next 2 days, the person is appointed as governor of the Central Bank of Ghana. If the president meant well, why will he not allow the process to acquit the president? Secondly, it is important to note that when you go to the IMF and negotiate on behalf of Ghana, the appropriateness of your persona in that negotiation is important. Especially when this new government is calling for a renegotiation of aspects of the IMF deal. Who is going to negotiate on behalf of the government? The Bank of Ghana will be an important feature of the negotiations. There's such a person who is not fit to lead the Bank of Ghana, negotiating with the IMF on behalf of the country, all the implications that it may have for our people. How will you view such a conduct? So, media friends, you should join us. I'm even surprised the CSOs and the academics are quiet over this. Or is it because the president has decided to give appointments to some academics and some CSO leaders that they have found it convenient to be silent over this? This is not good for our country. And I think that we all should rise up to get the president to act and act well in the interest of our country.
Bob.
And he had the immediate past Finance Minister, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, who is also the Member of Parliament for Karaga. Let's get a thought of Professor John Gache, who is an economist and also Dean of the UCC Business School. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening.
Would you share the view of the minority and indeed the former finance minister that keeping Mr. Siama with his current position or appointment by President Mahama would lead us to have international ridicule and other serious implications as well?
Well, the international organizations like the IMF, World Bank, and bilateral institutions, they recognize the rule of law, and they appreciate the fact that when a person is charged before court, that person is as pure as any individual who is not charged before court, unless that person is proven beyond reasonable doubt and convicted by a court of competent jurisdiction. So that has not happened. And therefore, before the international community, Dr. Johnson Siama is as honest, having the credibility as any other honest and credible Ghanaian. Because Johnson Siama didn't send himself to court. It was the Republic. It was the state that sent Johnson Siama to court. The Republic came back and said that, look, we are no more interested in the charges we have preferred against you. Therefore, you are as free as anybody. That is the status, that is the profile of Dr. Johnson Siama today. And therefore, I do not expect any organ, any individual, any institution elsewhere to interpret this development in a different manner.
I hear you say, Prof, is that the minority is probably, as it were, giving us a false alarm or throwing dust in our eyes. Is that what you're saying?
Well, as the law stands, it is an alarm that is not rooted in any law. Therefore, I do not think that we should give it the gravitas that it deserves, unless they have any incriminating issue that has not been factored into the charge that was preferred against Dr. Asiama before the charge was withdrawn or taken away. If it is not a fresh allegation against him, then that is not founded in law, and that is not founded in any principle.
The minority went ahead to say that it would proceed to petitioning the IMF on this matter. What do you foresee happening?
I think that is not a problem. They can do that. I think you recall that the current government, some people within the current government, also petitioned against the outgone governor of the Bank of Ghana. Those things do not change any position on the governor, because this is a sovereign state, and it is not IMF that would determine who becomes the governor of the Bank of Ghana. It's our laws that will determine who becomes the governor of the Bank of Ghana. And as I indicated in my preliminary comment, the IMF is an organization that believes in the rule of law, believe in the right of individuals. They do not believe in doing things that are not accommodated by the law. Per our laws, it is very clear that when you charge somebody before court by the state, in fact, you should know that it is not MPP that technically charge Dr. Asiama to court. It's the state. All criminal proceedings were conducted in the name of the state. So it's the republic that processed Asiama to court. The same republic is saying that I'm not interested in pursuing any charges against you. I drop those charges. Therefore, whatever MPP say, whatever the MPs say, and the rest, is immaterial. What is material now is what does our law say about what has happened. Our law simply says that if the one who is prosecuting you comes out to say that he doesn't think that he needs to proceed against you, then you are a free person. So as you see now, Dr. Johnson Asiama is a free person. And he has a technical know-how. They are not questioning that. And for that matter, I do not think that IMF has any serious role to play in that. It has no effect on the negotiation of the IMF deal. All that the IMF is seeking to do is that they have granted us an agreement. It's based on some pillars. The government is not saying that those pillars will be shifted. The government is only saying that you have consumed greater portion of the money already, and we have huge tasks ahead. Can we renegotiate to see whether some more money can be added? Can we negotiate so that the new program of the government can be accommodated in that? It has nothing to do with our laws being applied judiciously in clearing somebody.
So, Prof, what I hear you say, and that's my final question, what I hear you say is that based on the...
I also heard you indicate that when a new Attorney General comes, maybe when there is a change in government, the case will be renewed. That is a choice to be made by the new Attorney General. But what is before us now is that the state says it's no more interested in pursuing case against Dr. Johnson Asiama, and we need to engineer our legal processes so that prosecution does not become persecution. Any attempt to resurrect the case against Johnson Asiama will not be interpreted to foster good justice, but it will be interpreted to foster persecution.
So, Prof, my final question to you, what I hear you say is, based on the explanations given, free and to proven guilty, you don't expect this petition, that is, if it is sent at all, to be regarded as such?
Yeah, that point.
Hello, Prof. So what I was asking is, based on the explanation you've given, and of course the understanding that until you're proven guilty, nothing can be held against you, you don't expect this impending petition, as it were, to make any impact. Perhaps it might be disregarded before it even gets far.
No, it will not have any impact. It will make a political noise and legal debate in a discourse in the country. But really, IMF does not have any locus in determining what our courts have already determined. What our legal process have actually preferred. The IMF does not have that. So I think it's just a threat, but I'm not sure that that threat will amount to nothing, amount to anything. And as I clearly indicated to you, I believe some members of this society have reported the former governor to the IMF. They call for his resignation. And some of us say that those call for resignation will not materialize because it is not the IMF that will do it. It is the president and the laws of Ghana that will determine whether a governor should be removed or not.
Professor John Gache, thank you so much for speaking to us. And he's an economist and also Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School. Meanwhile, South Dying MP Roxanne Nelson Dafiamapo has a response to the minority leader, Apenyo Markin, who first wrote to President John Mahama to challenge the appointments. Let me bring you excerpts of a statement he issued earlier. And he said, let's set the law. The president, in pursuance of Article 1834A of the Constitution, appointed Dr. Siama as BOG boss. The same power is conferred on the president by Section 17(1)A of the BOG Act 2002, Act 612, as amended by Act 8918/2016. The Council of State is a creature of the Constitution and further enacted into law by Act 1037/2020. This law provides no formula for offering its advice or quote-unquote manner of delivering its consultation to the president regarding appointment into public office. There is a distinction between prior approval and in consultation with, phrases as deployed by the framers of the Constitution. As regards the former, Parliament has devolved a procedure to giving effect to that by actually subjecting nominees to what's called vetting by way of screening. The COS, on the other hand, holds no such vetting, but I suspect they have a formula for satisfying that quote-unquote in consultation with requirement in law. Now, it's curious that Honorable Apenyo Markin is lamenting the official presence of the new governor at BOG, yet he was unable to point to any law that has been breached in that regard. The Honorable Apenyo Markin knows that no law has been filed by the conduct of the new governor because he litigated this similar matter in 2016 and lost. In conclusion, I want to reiterate the point that whilst the president is mandated to seek the advice of the Judicial Council and consult with the Council of State in the appointment process of Supreme Court judges with the approval of Parliament, those advisory opinions are not binding on the president, unquote. So that's the statement coming there from Nelson Roxanne Dafiamapo in response to the minority leader, Alexander Apenyo Markin.
We'll see how things play out on this matter as it evolves here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. Immediate past member of the Council of State, Samuel Kujato, has criticized persons calling for the removal of the Electoral Commission boss, Jean Adokwe Mensah. In an exclusive interview on Agenda on TV3 with Beatrice, Samuel Kujato described the call and actions of certain individuals as hooliganism.
I heard it. I was laughing. I said, you are making allegations. What concrete do you have? This confusion in the election process, who caused them? The political parties have representatives at the polling station. They should stay there and the votes are counted. They tabulate it, the pink sheet, they transmit this information to their own headquarters.
So you're saying EC did nothing wrong with this election?
I cannot say anything EC wrong. But when they say ballot boxes should be taken, somebody went on the radio and television to announce that follow the box. Follow the box to go and do what?
But what about the EC announcing results when it knew that it didn't have all the polling stations?
It is not the EC.
And later coming back to say that they were under duress.
That is part of the problem, because in some places like that, they even held gun, they held EC officers, forcing them that they should announce that this person has won. That's a whole host of confusion, because we have become a country of hooligans.
But you know the EC hasn't come up.
It was not the EC. It is not the EC's job, because they also are trying not to give the impression that they are against any particular political party. So it is a country, now we become a country of hooligans. How do people go and set up fire to the ballot boxes in an electoral office? What's the meaning? It's hooliganism.
When people felt that the CI-127 kind of guided the elections, there's nothing inside that said that the EC could go ahead and redeclare after everything.
No, holy. When there is confusion between the political parties as to who has won, let's go through the pink sheet and see what it says. And what it says is final.
And some didn't have it.
How can they not have the pink sheet?
They didn't have it, but they went on to...
Were they not at the polling station? Were they not there when the votes were counted? How can they say they don't have it? No, because who does not provide it? That's the lie of lies.
That's Sam Okuja told them, a former chair of the Council of State, and that's in the S1 and Adonam Akrofi administration. But it's live here on Hot Edition. We're back shortly after this quick break with the latest in the world of business with Michael Ogbodu. Stay with us.
92.7 Free FM presents Fit Start Walk. Kick off your year the right way. Join us for a morning of exercise, networking and relaxation. Date Saturday, 1st February 2025. Time 5:30 a.m. Starting and ending point Aviation Social Centre. Call to register 053 2300 927. Fit Start Walk. Don't miss out. Come walk with us.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the business segment here on Hot Edition. Coming up tonight, 46-year-old Thomas Nyako Amping, an MP for Sujaman constituency to become Deputy Minister of Finance as Presidency unveils list of Deputy Minister nominees. We'll bring you the details shortly. I am Michael Ogbodu. Please stay tuned. Thank you so much for your time. Straight into our top story. And Deputy President John Dramani Mahama has nominated Thomas Nyako Amping, the Member of Parliament for Sujaman, as Deputy Minister of Finance. The experienced legislator who has served in Parliament since 2017 holds a master's degree in finance and has played key roles in the country's financial oversight committees. There's more in this report.
Thomas Amping, who has been in Parliament since 2017, holds an MSc in Finance from Virginia Commonwealth University in the United States and a bachelor's degree in Economics and Geography from KNUST. In Parliament, he served as chairman of the Budget Committee in the 8th Parliament, overseeing government expenditure. He was also a member of the Finance Committee from 2020 to 2024, contributing to financial policy discussions. His nomination is part of President Mahama's efforts to strengthen the finance ministry amid economic challenges. Other deputy ministerial nominees include John Dumelo as Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture, Samson Ayi as Deputy Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Richard Jan Mensah as Deputy Minister for Energy and Green Transition, among others.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report on the latest announcement of Deputy Minister nominees, with Thomas Nyako Ampim, the Member of Parliament for Sujaman, been nominated as Deputy Minister of Finance. And away from that, the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Seaboard, is urging the government to maintain the Good for Forex program, citing its effectiveness in addressing the industry's challenges in accessing foreign currency for oil purchases. The initiative and extension of the Good for Oil program allows the government to source cedis from bulk oil distributors to purchase gold, which is then sold to generate foreign exchange for their transactions. Speaking to 3 Business, Chief Executive of the Chamber, Dr. Patrick Kwekufori, credited the program for contributing to the relative stability of the city, as it ensured that bulk oil distributors had their forex needs met without exerting additional pressure on the local currency.
I would say Good for Forex should be structured well and built on. And I think we will say that since partnering with the Bank of Ghana and other state entities, whereby we ceded our cedis to those entities to procure gold, and when they export, they give us the resultant forex that help us with our trading. That in itself was a masterstroke, and that helped us not go into the banks to push the currency so high. So you realize that it also brought some form of sanity, that we're not placing double demands at the various banks. We aggregated what we require and then liaised with the central bank, and then they gave us based on their gold purchase program and what they've been able to export. And that we commend the outgoing governor, and then we also would like to use this opportunity to welcome Dr. Johnson Esiema and thank his team that we've been working, and we're looking forward to having a remarkable collaborative work with them and build on the past successes that we've enjoyed.
So that was Chief Executive of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Dr. Patrick Kwekufori. Now, before we leave you, the 2024 KPMG West Africa Banking Industry Customer Experience Survey has revealed that banking customers in Ghana are increasingly shifting towards low-risk investment options amid inflationary pressures and currency depreciation. The survey revealed that 39% of customers prefer treasury bills as a secure investment choice, while 25% opt for fixed-term deposits. Higher risk investments such as stocks and bonds saw a lower preference, with 19% and 9% of customers investing in them respectively. However, mutual funds are gaining traction, accounting for 23% of investment. The report highlights generational differences in investor behavior. Individuals over 60 are increasingly investing in treasury bills to preserve wealth, while millennials, that's 26 to 41 years, are investing less, with the percentage of non-investors rising from 17% in 2023 to 32% in 2024 due to financial pressures such as rent and family obligations. Well, on that note, that'll be all for today's edition of the business segment here on Hot Edition. For more business stories, our website 3news.com has more stories for you. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe. Up next, sports.
You're still listening to Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. It's time for the Sports Edition. My name is Akrofi AJ, and we're starting off with an update on the Nsawatwe violence, because the police have released and the police have announced the arrest of 2 more persons following intelligence-led operations in investigations into the stabbing to death of ardent Asante Kotoko fan Francis Yalfrimpong last Sunday. This brings to 5 the total number of persons arrested in connection with the tragic incident. Ghana Police, led by IGP, held a meeting today with the Ghana Football Association and other stakeholders.
To announce to you that as of this afternoon, we have arrested 2 more persons, bringing the total number of people who have been arrested to 5, and we are currently pursuing a few others.
That was the IGP Ekufo Dampari. To some other stories, and Parliament has confirmed the appointment of Boem MP Kofi Adams as Ghana's new Minister of Sports and Recreation, following his nomination by President John Dramani Mahama in January. The approval came after Adams successfully went through vetting by the Appointment Committee last week, where he assured lawmakers of his commitment to holistically developing sports. A report on his vetting was laid before Parliament and subsequently adopted. My colleagues Andrew Sefa and Rabi Edueje have been speaking to a cross-section of Ghanaians on their expectations for the new sports minister.
I think he will do a very good job. He was mentioning certain sectors of sport that I thought he doesn't even have an idea of. But after that, I got to know that he's going to do well. So let's give him the support. I think the administrative work is for the FA, and he will be doing the other side of it. So we should give him the support. And I think he will give us a good job.
Adam too is a Ghanaian, and maybe the capability that Mahama have seen, so they're appointing him as a football minister. I think he can deliver.
To Aban Omwa and say the about the who are the Nimidian Sambua. Ghana let me acquaint him. Akokra for wake up Ediaba. The committee the American say Oban Omwa. No man and Nisunyati, baby, all corner dangerous. Omen and Ninaji ho. Yes, yeah, no one so crocodile, Debbie, Omen and Ninati.
As a Oma Sky William. Now, what me my players in front of us. Oma Muska Mutimi, a year Jumani ye. And I, baby, so swa. Boy, I was here a community pay. I want to ask my skill to bow home by a year.
What I'm expecting Kofi Adams to do is the one. He should make sure we call players who can play the blaster. It shouldn't be, they have, during the past, there have been so allegations that the GFA, they take money and those things. We don't collect the right people to play the football. So as for sports minister, you have to make sure all these things are stopped. The corruptions in football, in terms of the call-up to blaster, whether it's a satellite or under 2017 Black Prince or Black Princess, they should make sure that they call the right people. And
to some other stories ahead of the Carabao Cup semi-final second leg, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta still believes his side can reach the finals. Arsenal had 23 shots during the first leg, but 3 were on target as Gabriel Martinelli struck the post and Kai Havertz headed a simple chance wide. The gaffer has urged his players to play better in the second leg.
There are a lot of factors when that first goal is scored as well. How what you producing in the game to score that goal, how we generate momentum. What if you don't score for a period of time as well? There are going to be a lot of scenarios in that game. And we have to be really good at it. When I talk about the emotional state or the energy or the level of trust where we are today and we were just after the game, the disappointment because the manner of the result as well, the amount of chances that we missed that day and where we are today, I think is very different.
That was Mikel Arteta, manager for Arsenal. Now to the camp of Newcastle, as their head coach Eddie Howe has urged his players to not overthink tonight's 2-0 aggregate lead over Arsenal. The Newcastle United head coach pulled off one of the greatest ever victories in the dugout when beating the Gunners 2-0, but knows it will count for nothing if the Magpies don't follow it up this evening.
I think we just have to approach the game in a really positive way, aggressive way. We have to very much try and be ourselves in every moment. There'll be no deviation from that from our perspective. Front foot performance at home, we need to engage the crowd. We're in a good position, and we need to try and make the most of every opportunity.
And now to basketball. The Washington Wizards are officially making moves ahead of the 2025 NBA trade deadline, according to reports. He has revealed that the Milwaukee Bucks are trading Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, and a pick-up swap to the Washington Wizards for Kyle Patrick Baldwin Jr. and second-round draft compensation. Middleton, a three-time All-Star and an NBA champion in 2021, had been rumored for a trade in the past week. Joel Botte, a basketball analyst, has been following the trade.
For the Milwaukee Bucks, I think they are trying their best to secure a second championship for Giannis Antetokounmpo. The issue has always been, is Chris Middleton fit enough? And he looks like he's past his best days. Considering this trade, I think it really works for them. Kyle Kuzma has also won a championship with LA Lakers, and so he's definitely going to bring that experience. But the question is he going to replicate what Chris Middleton once did? Is he good defensively like the way Drew Holiday once was when he was with the Milwaukee Bucks? These are the question marks that are hanging around the Bucks and also Kyle Kuzma. If they are able to incorporate him into the team, I think we should be able to deliver and make them a championship contender once again. Let's see how it goes. I believe they're on track, and this is a good trade for the Milwaukee Bucks.
That's it for the Sports on Hot edition. For more sports, log on to 3news.com/sport or on 3sportsgh on all our social media pages. My name is Akusia Ej.
On this frequency, 92.7 3 FM.
Caro, I said I read the list and they are show okay. Kilo day. Ghana number. Hello, Oga Kwame.
Hey, Madam Kemi. I've received the fabrics and the colors are really nice. Look, I am going to send you your money.
Same driver, same station, Abi?
No, I'm using my bank, GCB, to transfer the money.
Bank transfer, okay. The rate will be high, yo.
Oh, not at all. GCB Bank will transfer in cedis and you will receive it in Naira.
I don't see amo. This is your GCB now, Baba.
Transferring money across Africa is now cheaper, faster, and safer at GCB Bank with PAPS. Available in Nigeria,
Ghana,
Sierra Leone,
Liberia,
Guinea,
Gambia,
Kenya,
Malawi,
Djibouti,
Rwanda, Zambia,
and Zimbabwe.
And remember, PAPS is now available on the GCB mobile app.
Call toll-free 0800-422-422 or visit any GCB branch for more information.
This is a GCB and PAPS partnership.
GCB, your bank for life.
In this season of love, mark your calendars and make a date for an awesome night of romantic music and sensual moments. Event Factory Ghana and DLFM presents Valentine with Daddy Lumba. Date Saturday, 15 February at the Grand Arena, featuring the lovely songbirds Abiyana and Adina. Plus a lineup of legendary hitmakers Caesar, Kofi Inti, KK Fosu, and Doforian Ponsa. It will be the the most thrilling love experience you just can't miss. Purchase tickets at all First National Bank branches or dial *714*888# or log on to vtickets.com for table reservations. Call 0207-990-296. Valentine with Daddy Lumba is brought to you in partnership with Royal Black Soup, First National Bank, Accra City Hotel, 1957, Abrantia the Gentleman, and all our media partners.
Whoa, whoa, ya know what in you.
Accra gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3 FM.
Everybody go talk.
Hey, ready to make your drive home epic? It's the 3FM Drive with the one and only Giovanni Killer right here on 3FM 92.7. Weekdays, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're transforming your commute into a top-tier experience. Need a pick-me-up? Our music belt is pure energy, pure vibes. Stay ahead with the Drive Sports, bringing you the latest scores and highlights. Curious about the stars? We've got all the hottest trends, celebrity profile interviews, plus DJ faculty has got you.
Ready? Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays on 3FM Drive. You know where it's at.
This is where the action is at, live on the 3FM Drive on 3FM 92.7. Welcome to the 3FM Drive. That's right!
I wake up early every weekday because of you, to keep you on top of your game. Yeah!
You are at the center of our universe. That's why we make it a duty to serve you only the freshest, hottest news and entertainment. When you want it, where you want it.
Good morning, Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the wonderful world. Welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Start your day well informed. Start with us on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Catch the all-new Sunrise Morning Show on 3FM 92.7 with me, Johnny Hughes, Helen Apiambofo. Weekdays from 5:55 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on 3FM 92.7.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Accra gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3 FM.
Welcome back. This is Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also live on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. As always, your thoughts and views, comments and opinions are welcome on 3FM 927 on Facebook. If you're just joining us right now, a story has just gone by. President John Dramani Mahama has nominated 13 persons to various deputy ministerial positions in his government pending approval by Parliament. And these are the Deputy Minister of Finance designate Thomas Nyako Ampem, Deputy Interior Minister designate Ebenezer Okulete-Tailabi, Deputy Defense Minister designate Ernest Broja Jemfi, Deputy Education Minister designate Dr. Clement Abbas Apak, Deputy Energy and Green Transition Minister designate Richard Jan Mensah, and Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways designate Al-Hassan Suhin, Deputy Minister for Justice and Attorney General Justice Shrem Sai, and Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources designate Yusuf Sulemana, and Deputy Local Government Minister designate Rita Na Odele Sowa, Deputy Minister designate for Works, Housing and Water Resources Gisela Tete Agbotui, Deputy Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts Minister designate Yusuf Isaka Jaja, Deputy Food and Agriculture Minister designate John Kofi Seto Dumelo, Deputy Trade, Agribusiness and Industry Minister designate Samson Ayin, as well as the Deputy as a Minister of State designate for Public Sector Reforms, Lydia Lamisi Akamwariba say in there. A number of you have been commenting on this. We'll get into it shortly here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale, and on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. But before we get into your comments, the impact of the suspension of the U.S. Agency for International Development, as USAID support globally, has begun impacting healthcare in the country. The Ghana Health Service, in a letter, has formally notified directors of the 3 regions in the north of the suspension, which will have direct impact on the supply chain and health commodity availability in the areas. The United States, through its USAID's support, has contributed significantly to Ghana's development, particularly in areas like economic growth, democracy, education, health, and agriculture since the agency's 6 decades mission overseas. However, thousands of USAID employees already have been laid off and programs worldwide shut down following the imposed freeze on foreign assistance by President Donald Trump. With the USAID being Ghana's largest bilateral development partner, especially in the health sector, the devastating effect of the pullout cannot be overemphasized. Let's take you through some of the areas the interventions will impact on it. And Beatrice, you have the details?
Indeed, we do. And we have HIV/AIDS medications, we have TB medications, we have malaria drugs, mosquito nets and equipment, capacity building for human resources, also maternal, newborn and child health with a focus on preventing morbidity, adolescent reproductive health, commodities. And I'm sure you're aware this is around teenage pregnancies and all of that. Also technical assistance through procurement and supply chain management support. There's public health program implementation, health infrastructure expansion, primary healthcare delivery at community health facilities, that's CHIPS compound as we normally call them, and health centers, disease surveillance. Well, we'll shortly be having a discussion on this with a representative, actually a health analyst who understands these. But ahead of that, in what could be described as a sigh of relief for the Ghanaian Muslim community, the government has reduced the Hajj price for the 2025 Hajj pilgrimage from 75,000 Ghana cedis to 62,000 Ghana cedis. This was part of President Mohammed's campaign promise to reduce the Hajj fee drastically, quote unquote, from the 75,000 cedis charged last year. Chairman of the Hajj task force noted with worry the huge debt left behind by the previous government.
Fare was set at 75,000 Ghana cedis. In old, it was 750 million Ghana cedis. Today, I am pleased to announce that through diligent negotiations and collaborations, the task force has successfully secured a significant reduction in the Hajj fare for 2025. The fare for the 2025 Hajj has been set at 62,000 Ghana cedis.
Well, Deputy Presidential Spokesperson Shamima Muslim says President Mahama is committed to fulfilling his mandate to Ghanaians.
I think it's a significant reduction. 75,000 Ghana cedis to 62,000 Ghana cedis is very significant. In the short period of time that we had to assess the situation, we are talking about a debt that we have inherited, over $5 million debt, to the Hajj process. We need to figure out what has happened, right? So we are really very happy that His Excellency has honored his promise and significantly reduced the Hajj fare within his first year, less than a month in office. That is significant, and we are very happy to hear that. with the plans, as the task force has announced, with the plans they have to comprehensively review the entire Hajj process, we're going to hope to get a more efficient, affordable, and expanded process into the next year. This is one of the major promises we made. There are commitments we have made to expanding educational opportunities, to also expanding the rights of the Muslim girl, then allow for her to be able to wear her hijab to school, to work. That is a promise he's also committed to, but also expanding general opportunities to our inner cities and Zongo communities. So there is more in the offing. Let's keep our fingers crossed and bear him up in prayer.
And it had Shamima Muslim. She's deputy presidential spokesperson, and we stay at the presidency because President Mahama inspected Stalled Takoradi Market Circle project, promising to hold a crucial meeting with the finance minister and contractor of the Stalled Takoradi Market Circle project this Friday to explore ways to complete the phase 1 of the 46 million euro project, which has faced delays. Listen to the president speaking earlier.
I thank you all. Today we are here because of the Takoradi Market Circle. We know that where the work has gotten to has become a problem for all Takoradi individuals. Today we are here to meet the chiefs and individuals of the Takoradi community.
I'm sorry, we're unable to bring you that, but, well, that'll be it for the news, isn't it?
Indeed. And you find more of it on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. And also make some time and visit 3FM927 on Facebook. You get some more details on it. And join me at 10 p.m. on TV3 for Ghana Tonight, which is also going to be live on 3FM 92.7. And news just coming through. Beatrice, before we go, from the presidency, President John Mahama has announced his intention to reinstate July 1 as a statutory public holiday, restoring its significance as Republic Day and Senior Citizens Day in Ghana. Speaking during his thank you visit to the Western region earlier today, President Mahama proposed that July 1 be observed as a national day of prayer and thanksgiving, allowing Ghanaians to reflect and express appreciation for the nation's progress.
I think he spoke about it earlier. Is that in addition to the holidays we already do have?
Well, it appears so. It's just he's restoring. That means the previous administration
had removed it, yes.
Absolutely. But let's take a listen to President John Mahama on this.
We will have the opportunity as a nation soon to pray and give thanks to the Almighty God, as enjoined by the Holy Book that says that in all things give thanks. We will thank God for his beautiful blessings on our nation, Ghana. And I'll soon announce a planning committee made up of religious leaders to plan the National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving. I propose that this National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving should be held on 1st July, which is also our Republic Day and also marks Senior Citizens Day. Nananum, my brothers and sisters, we will soon present to Parliament amendments to the Public Holidays Act in order that we can restore July 1st as a holiday. In the amendment of the Public Holidays Act, we shall also make provision to fulfill our promise to the Muslim community of an extra holiday to mark the Muslim festival of Eid al-Fitr.
Oh, so that's President John Dramani Mahama there, and there's more on 3news.com on this. Join me at 10 p.m. on TV3 and on 3FM 92.7 for Ghana Tonight. My name is Alfred Ocansey.
My name is Beatrice. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Enjoy the rest of our programs.